Okay, it is 7 p.m. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are in week 4 of the 10-week professional development seminar series for the Ignite program. Thank you all for attending. Just a few notes. We want to make sure that you all are taking the time to check in so that you can get credit for attendance, which allows us to determine your incentive award at the end of the summer. The other thing that we need to make sure you're completing is the post-session survey that will come up at the end of tonight's session. Those comments help us to know what we can do differently, what we need to do better, what things you need from us. Some comments we'd like to know, are you guys interested in having just some open chat Zoom sessions where you can talk about what's happening at your job, talk about what's happening in your job hunt for those who may not have a position yet. If there is an open session you want to do in the day and the evenings, do you want it to be like breaking out and having more smaller sessions with a coach? Those are some things that kind of been running through our heads. We have one of our coaches who has made that suggestion just based on some conversation they've had with their individual students. And so we want to know what that interest level would be like, and if you would do it in the evenings like we're doing now, or would you rather something earlier in the day? Additionally, I was late sending out the weekly reflections questionnaire. It was just sent yesterday, Monday, June 23rd. See if you can get that in for us. We will drop that link in the chat as well for that weekly reflections questionnaire. It just kind of tells us how you're doing in your week. Again, that's another place that you can give us some updates as to how we can help you. If there are specific things going on at the job that you want some guidance with, again, job hunting, interviewing, any of those things, letting us know what you're needing from us. Now, if this is something you've been enjoying, you've seen the value add to it, please send this information out to your friends, classmates, to the organizations you're a member of. Ask them to post it along with yourself. Post this on your social media platforms. We will drop the recommended social media verbiage, and you can use that, or you can create your own later in the chat. And we'll also put our department social media links, so that if you want to follow our links, you'll get a lot of information from there as well. This week, we do have our first special topic session. We had people asking about a business and dining etiquette workshop. So we will be offering that business and dining etiquette workshop on this Thursday at 7 p.m. It will be a wealth of information that we'll be sharing with you, and looking forward to those of you who are able to and would like to attend. It is optional, but we would really love it if you could attend, especially if you may have some meal kind of engagement that you'll be doing with your job or in an interview coming up soon. All righty. So right before I bring on our dynamic presenter this evening, Dr. Danielle Figgins, I want you to go ahead, put your name, major, company name, and work location in the chat for us so we can see who all is here, where you are. You guys can maybe even just join up at some point in time for those of you who see that someone is in the same area that you are in. Thank you very much, and I turn it over to Dr. Figgins.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jones. Welcome, everybody. Happy Tuesday. So it is week 4, and we are going to be talking about mastering workplace decorum. So what I would like for you to do, just to start off, have you ever heard of the term decorum? And if so, do you know what that means? You are welcome to place that information in the chat, or if you want to take yourself off of mute, you're welcome to do that. But let me know before we kind of start talking about it. Have you ever heard of the term? And if so, do you know what the term decorum means? Would anyone like to volunteer? And I can't see the chat, so I may need some help on that if someone is placing that information in the chat.
I got you, Dr. Figgins.
Thank you, Ms. George. I know some
I would
have
say,
different term. Okay.
oh yeah, I would say, more than even like workplace behavior, but just behavior that's tasteful.
Thank you. Yes. Yes. Anyone else? No one else? Okay. All right. Well, it's going to be an interactive session. Okay. So don't be shy. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. And thank you so much, Miss Houston, for that. All right. Mastering workplace decorum. So just some virtual housekeeping rules. If you're able to do so, I would love to see your beautiful, wonderful, handsome faces. So please turn your cameras on if you're able to do so. Also, I want you to ask questions. We will have a section, a part in the presentation where you can ask your questions. And again, please participate. There will be an activity that you will participate in, and guess what? We're all here to learn together. So let's learn together. Just a little bit about me. I know some of you may have seen my little bio from week 2, but I know some of you are new and just joining us as well. So I am a career coach here, and I am a proud Prairie View alum, and I have received my bachelor's and master's here at Prairie View A&M, and continued my education at University of Phoenix, doctorate in management, specializing in organizational leadership. And I've worked in the private sector, public sector from various industries. And I'm also a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, in addition to Society for Human Resource Management. So here are your career coaches. We post this slide at every presentation because we want you to reach out to your career coach. We are here to help you. If there's any questions, concerns, please, please, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. So if you see that your major is not listed on here, you can reach out to Ms. Jones. Again, we're all here to help. So, what is an elite Panther professional? I love to instill that self confidence in you all because that's what we all need, right? That boost of self confidence. So, I consider you all the elite professional. And so, let's just break down the word elite. The term elite is just saying that, hey, it's a select group of people that's superior in terms of their abilities, their qualities from the rest of the group or society. You are the most successful and powerful group of people. Yes, you. And so you are here actively working to enhance both your college experience at Prairie View as well as your future employability. So at Prairie View, you are an elite Panther, as I like to say. So we're gonna break the term as far as etiquette versus decorum, right? You kind of hear those words all the time. So when we talk about etiquette, we're actually talking about like a formal situation, right? Or a rule of behavior. So for an example, like table manners, right? Like I'm sure you've heard elbows off the table or sit up straight or hold your head up. That's kind of like etiquette in a sense as far as how to conduct yourself at a formal event. But decorum, on the other hand, is all about that appropriate conduct, good taste, respect in any setting. So, an example of decorum would be like to maintain a calm and collected attitude in a tense situation, or dressing appropriately for the workplace, as we're going to talk about today, and or speaking respectfully to others. So when we talk about workplace decorum, that is just stating that workplace decorum, it encompasses the courtesy and respectful behavior that is expected in a professional environment. And so the reason why I underline the word expected, because it is expected of you to behave in a certain way in the workplace. You can't just show up to work when you want, dress how you want to dress, and behave the way you want to. You wouldn't even be hired for that. So there is an expectation there. And so here are some key aspects of workplace decorum. And the first one is respectful communication. This is kind of like a topic that I covered in week 2. So it's all about being mindful of your body language and avoiding gossip. is also considering to engage in effective communication. So when you walk into the room in the morning, when you go to work, speak to people. Good morning, hello. I mean, that kind of eases the tension there because a lot of times you don't know what people are going through. That's why I always tell people it's always nice to be nice and kind to people. And so you just want to respect everyone. So it's always good to be cordial. And even if they don't respond back to you, don't allow their actions to offend you. You can only control your actions and what you do. And so, in regards to respectful communication, there are some topics that I do not recommend that you discuss in the workplace. First of all, your salary. Never share your salary with another coworker. It's not going to end well because if you do, just imagine this rather. If everybody on your job wrote their name and their salary on a piece of paper and everybody just placed it on the table, it will be tension will be high. You be like, I know such and such ain't making this much money, and I have a degree, I have more experience, and da da da. It's going to cause mass confusion. So don't ever talk about your salary. Politics, never discuss politics at work. I know it's so much that's going on in the world right now, but do not discuss politics. Religion as well. Don't discuss it. People believe who they want to believe in. And so, hey, we all have to respect people' decisions and their religion and whoever they voted for. You have to respect them for that. So just be mindful of that. Number two, punctuality and time management. Time management is something that Ms. Jones covered last week. And so when I'm discussing time management, it's all about just arriving on time to work, right? You don't want to be late. And of course, you want to respect other people's time. So this is something that I suggest. When you start your job, make sure that you have your manager's contact number as well as the email address. Why do I say this? Because what if you're running late? What if you're sick? What if there's a family emergency? You want to be able to reach out to them in a timely manner, meaning before the time that you report to work to let them know, hey, I'm not feeling so well today, or I have this family emergency. It's all about courtesy, right? So you want to let them know in advance. Also, with effective communication, ask questions, whether it's verbal or in written communication. It's okay to address your concerns, meaning if there's a task that you don't understand and you need more clarification, it's okay to do that in regards to respectful communication. Number three is appropriate attire. Please follow the company's dress code. Whatever that entails, follow the dress code. I know a lot of times within companies and organizations, depending on the nature of business, of course, the dress code is going to be different. But again, follow the dress code. If they say business casual, don't come in casual because the word business is in front of it. So business casual is the difference. And if they have casual Fridays, ladies, please no ripped jeans. We don't want to see certain things hanging out and all this and that. And, with the tops with the low cut. No, no, no. Casual Fridays is just saying, hey, a nice pair of jeans, a nice top, you're covered up, because everything ain't the time and the place. And so in the workplace, no. So just be mindful of your attire. Men as well, be mindful of your attire, especially with shoes and Crocs and all that good stuff. I'm sure they're comfortable, but again, follow the dress code of the organization. Number four, maintaining a clean and organized workspace. Make sure your desk is clean. You don't want coffee stains or soda stains or trash or candy wrappers or paper everywhere. They go like, oh my God, her desk is so junky. Or his or her desk is so junky. So you want to make sure that you keep a nice, tidy workspace. Number five, respect for personal space. So avoid intruding on colleagues' personal space or invading in their privacy. That's important. So, for an example, if you may see a piece of lint on someone, don't just reach and just grab it. You let them know, hey, I think you have something on your shirt there. You may want to get that. Like kind of point it to them, but don't touch it and grab the length or what have you because you're invading in their space. And of course, you don't want people to do that to you either. So it's all about respecting that personal space. Number 6, avoiding distractions. Be mindful of noise levels, especially if you work in a cubicle or if you work in a room where it's just like a large desk. I mean, it just depends on where you work. You want to be mindful of the noise level. You don't want to engage in like a sidebar conversation with another coworker and you guys are talking and laughing loud. You could be disturbing your other coworkers. So again, be mindful of that. Number 7, avoid annoying habits. So when I say this, I'm talking about like gum chewing, for an example. You know, if you love chewing gum, you're popping your gum, or if there's some type of strong perfume or a strong cologne, be mindful of that. You know, someone could be suffering with allergies. And last but not least, practicing good hygiene. Hey, you want to come to work looking good, smelling good, okay? You want to maintain that overall clean, well groomed appearance. So, why does this matter? It matters because it builds stronger relationships. So, being polite and respectful, having that type of behavior, it fosters positive relationship with colleagues and clients. It also improves collaboration. When people feel respected and valued, they're more likely to collaborate effectively. And that's true. If you work in a toxic work environment, you're not going to want to collaborate. You'd be like, I don't care. I'm not about to give my input. But, you know, when you feel respected and valued, you'll do that. And so that's very important. Number 3, enhance professional reputation. So displaying a good decorum can help you build a positive reputation and make a good impression on others. Number 4, it creates a positive work environment. So a workplace with good decorum is more likely to be pleasant and produce a productive place to work. So creating a positive work environment, it starts with you. And so only you can control your actions and what you do. So number 5, it reduces conflict. Being mindful of others and respecting their boundaries, it can prevent conflicts. So I want y'all to take a look at the top 4 behaviors for a bad office decorum. So these bad office decorum, these 4 behaviors rather, they can negatively impact the workplace. And so it can damage professional relationships. So the first one, as you see, it's gossiping. Spreading rumors or talking horrible about other colleagues, it can create a toxic atmosphere and it can damage relationships. So keep this in mind. If someone is always gossiping, and 9 times out of 10, I don't care where you work, it's going to be a gossiper somewhere. Some places are worse than others. But keep in mind, if there's someone that's always gossiping about other people to you, guess what? They're talking about you as well to other people. That's facts, guaranteed facts. So just be mindful of that. If someone wants to come up to you and they want to start gossiping, just stay neutral. That's what I always say. Stay neutral, stay positive, don't take the bait, don't get involved in that. Number 2, using inappropriate language. Using offensive language, whether it's based on gender, race, or other characteristics, it can create a hostile work environment and it can also lead to some legal issues. So you want to be mindful of the language that you use. Unresponsive to messages. Failing to respond promptly to emails or other messages, it can be perceived as unprofessional and it can also hinder communication and collaboration. And number 4, consistently being late to meetings. So, excuse me. So arriving late to meetings, it can show disrespect for others' time and it can disrupt the flow of discussions. So, ethical behavior. So, when I talk about this, I'm talking about your overall conduct and decision making. And so, with ethical behavior in the workplace, it encompasses principles and values that guide individuals and organizations in their conduct and decision making. So, it includes honesty, fairness, respect, responsibility, and integrity, fostering a positive and trustworthy work environment. So integrity is about doing the right thing when no one is watching, right? You're always doing the right thing. And ethical behavior, it extends beyond legal requirements. It also emphasizes a commitment to doing what is right and upholding societal norms. So one thing to really remember, if you're working somewhere and if you always see someone that's doing something that's unethical and they're just getting away with it, please don't follow that behavior. Just because they get away with it does not mean that you'll have the same results, okay? So be mindful of that as well. So, I want to talk about engagement. There are a lot of times, especially in large organizations, corporate America, they may have some on site as well as off site engagements for team building, for an example. So they may say, hey, we want to take the team off site, we want to take you all to go golfing or whatever, or golfing clubhouse rather. And so they really want to see how well you engage with other people. They also want to see your behavior outside of work. And so I will tell you to always keep that professionalism and always maintain that professionalism. So I'm kind of thinking about the holiday parties because that's another thing too. So when you have, there may be some holiday parties that the company may offer, and they may have open bar, for instance. Please know that's a test. Not saying that you can't enjoy yourself, but what I'm saying is you don't want to be overserved. You don't want to have one too many. And so when you tend to have one too many, then some behaviors may come out, right? And so you don't want to be the talk the next day. I can recall where when I worked in corporate America, they would have holiday parties all the time, and I never did go. But best believe Monday morning, because they was always on a Friday, so Monday morning I would hear all the stories about what certain coworkers and their behavior and what they did. And so it was not in good light. And so why I say to always keep in mind in what you do is because, you know, your managers, directors, they're watching your behavior. And if they feel as if, you know, if you can't hold your alcohol or know how to act, they're not going to send you maybe to another state to represent the company. They're not. Why would they do that if they feel that they can't trust you, you know, at a holiday party and how to conduct yourself? So please be mindful of that. Representation matters. You know, this is all about you at the end of the day. So with your internship or with your new job, you're not only representing yourself, but you're representing your family, you're representing Prairie View A&M University and beyond. So your internship experience, it just doesn't affect you, but it affects your future, and it can also influence opportunities for other students at Prairie View. So the way you represent yourself in the university, it can either open doors for you or either it can close doors for you. So employers often base future internship decisions on performance and professionalism of current interns. So remember, your actions today can shape the path for others tomorrow. And so even if you make a mistake, learn from them. That's why I say reach out to your coaches. We're here to help you and you can move forward. And so again, as your coaches, we're here to help you. We take pride in helping you, our students. So don't ever hesitate to reach out to us. So I would like to offer some type of participation. I would like to test your knowledge. And so this is when we're gonna go to, I think we're gonna have it in a poll form this time. Is that correct? Or we're still gonna do it as a quiz, Miss Jones? Let me give her time to pull it.
Oh, it's going to still be a quiz. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That is quite all right. Okay, so I would like for you all to take a quiz. Let me see if I can move that. So a quiz should be popping up on your screen. It's going to be 10 questions. And it's all about etiquette and decorum. And I just want to see how much you know.
Are these the same questions we had yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay. I'm glad to see some people joined us again from yesterday.
I accidentally submitted before I answered all the questions. Is there a way I can get the quiz again or?
I don't think.
Unfortunately not.
Okay, well, that's what happened, sorry.
Okay, I'm not seeing a lot of people taking the quiz, and we have a lot of people in here, so I'm not even seeing half of the people take a quiz. Okay, I'm gonna give about maybe 45 more seconds, because we'll be close at 5 minutes for the quiz to be up, so. Okay, we're gonna end the quiz and yeah, thank you. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna allow you all to see the results. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so let's go through it. I don't know, I don't know. Can you all still see the quiz on your end or no?
Yes, some people are saying yes.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, if you are on a mobile device, you may not be able to see the results. But if you are on a laptop or a desktop, you will be able to see it.
All right, okay. Question number 1, your favorite song is playing on the radio. Do you dance around the office with the music blasting on your speakers? Listen to the music with your headphones at a loud volume so others can also hear. C, listen to the music with your headphones at a low volume so you do not disturb others nearby, or listen to music with noise canceling headphones so you can't hear when others request your attention. So everyone got that one right. Great job. Great job. Sorry. I am so tired today, you guys. I am so sorry. My words are just twisting. All right. Question number 2. Unlike social etiquette, office and business etiquette are primarily based on. So the answer is option A and C. So most of y'all got that one right. Okay, number 3, it is a casual Friday, but you have a meeting with the client. How should you dress that day? And the answer is in business casual. All right. Okay, question number 4. You invite an out-of-town client to dinner to discuss work. You should. Everyone got that one right at 100%. Ask for their preference and pick an appropriate restaurant. Okay. Number 5, your office culture allows you to keep personal items on your desk and in your cubicle. The answer is balance personal and office items in your cubicle. 1 in 5 objects on your desk can be personal. So 86% of you all had that correct. And then 14% stated avoid displaying anything other than work items on your desk. It is inappropriate to your attention. Okay. So with that, you can have some personal items, on your desk if you want, but of course you want to balance it out. So, all right, let's see. Number 6, your friend from college joins your company in a superior role to you. How should you interact with her in the office? And everyone got that right. Okay, treat her like a superior in the office and as a friend outside. Great. I'm glad to know that everyone got that correct, because you have to know when to separate personal from business. So good job. Okay, number 7. Where should your friends and family wait when visiting you at work? Everyone got that one correct. In the waiting room, in the waiting area, break room, or cafeteria. Number 9, which of the following is not good email etiquette? And most of you, 90% of you all got the right answer. Sending funny videos, YouTube videos, and personal emails to coworkers. Okay. All right. Number 9. This one is a little tricky. Your boss shows up late to a meeting that is about to conclude. You should. And so the answer is A. Thank her for stopping by, politely interrupt the person speaking at the meeting, and debrief your boss on the agenda. So 38% of you all had that correct. The majority of you chose B. And again, this is kind of like a little trick question, where you said slightly nod when she enters, but continue the meeting without bringing her up to speed. And then 14% of you chose C. Once the session is over, tell her that it was bad practice to show up for the meeting. You would tell your boss that. 14% chose C. So you're going to let your boss know it was bad practice to show up late to the meetings? Okay, the answer is A. We may have to talk about that. Like, why did you choose C? Okay, number 10. Should you connect with your boss on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or TikTok or whatever other social media And the answer is no. 90% stated no. All right. Okay. Good job. Thank you all. Okay, so I just want to give some resources. That information will be provided to you with the resources, more resources about workplace etiquette. And that concludes my presentation. This is now open discussion Q&A. Any questions, comments, any type of feedback of what you all may be experiencing. Before we dive into that, please be sure to scan the QR code to not only get credit for your attendance, but also to complete the survey. So that's why these QR codes are up. But outside of that, I am opening up the floor. Again, any questions, comments, feedback?
You have a chat comment. Someone asked, what's wrong with B?
Oh, on the quiz.
I think you got the same, maybe that's the same one from last night.
Yes, it is. Let me pull up my paper because I had to print it. So let me go back to the actual
Mm-hmm.
quiz. Give me 1 second. Okay, so B was, let's see, slightly nod when she enters, but continues the meeting without bringing her up to speed. So the reason why the answer was A was because that's your boss. You want to acknowledge them when they come in, and it's all about respect, right? And just having that decorum. The boss is walking in while you're presenting or while you are conducting a meeting. You always want to acknowledge your boss, kind of bring them up to speed. And some of them may just say, no, I'm just stopping by, go ahead and continue. But again, it's all about that acknowledgement. Like I said, it was a trick question between A and B, but no, it's all about the overall respect that you have for your boss. And so if, Ms. Jones and Ms. George, you're welcome to chime in, or if we have any other coaches, if we have any coaches here, then, you're welcome to chime in as well.
Well, I would say one of the things is that you always want to make sure you are acknowledging and being respectful of your supervisor when they come in. If it was a meeting that they were invited to, then you don't want them sitting there lost, not understanding what's been covered, what information may be needed in order for them to understand the rest of the meeting. If it's a meeting that they weren't necessarily invited to and they just walk in, again, you can do it out of courtesy, introduce them, and start telling them about where you are with things. A lot of times, if they're just coming through to see what's going on, they will oftentimes just say, I just was stopping in. I didn't want anything. I didn't want to disturb you, kind of thing. So, it's just really more of a courtesy and a respect thing of, my bosses walked in. We want to make sure that they know where they are, where we are in the meeting, any information that may be needed for them to just be able to take part in the meeting. So it's really, B isn't bad or wrong. It's just the A answer was better for this particular situation. But you'll be governed accordingly. Just know that, be aware that you want to give more than just a nod to your boss unless there's already been a protocol established of when they walk into a meeting, they don't need all of that circumstance, that pomp and circumstance.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Any other questions? You guys are a quiet, shy group tonight. Last night, the questions and the feedback was coming. I don't know if the energy is, it's Tuesday and everybody's feeling like, oh, I'm so tired, or I don't know.
I think that's what it is.
Okay.
I can give some feedback. So I have an internship in San Antonio.
Okay.
And my career coach, Miss Lott, she has actually helped me a lot because we were having some problems, and it was their fault. They didn't let me know that I needed a certain document, and she was able to send it to me quickly and help me get it. So now I'm cleared to do everything I have to do. So yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
All right, anybody else? So what type of decorum have you all seen in your workplace so far? Is it more of a positive work environment, toxic work environment? Are you noticing some of your coworkers that doesn't practice decorum, or just overall this type of environment that you all are working in? Or do you all feel comfortable enough to collaborate with others and share ideas? Or
I can speak on that. I work for PV in financial aid.
okay.
Um, yes, so sometimes the morale is a little low for us, but I mean, we kind of work things out as a team. We try. I
Okay.
would say that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for sharing.
I like to share
Oh,
if
Okay, go ahead.
but I was just out here in the internship in St. Louis, and I think like the decorum, like you said, it depends on like the managers and the team that you're working with, because this internship is a lot more relaxed. Everybody treats each other like buddies, but in like a respectable office sense. And yeah, the first day, boss told me like I was more stuck, not stuck up, but trying to be the most professional I could be. He just told me to relax, basically. So that was just my experience.
That's good. Yeah.
Mhm.
You'll find a lot of corporations are going to a more relaxed environment. Speaking as a baby boomer and being out in the business, working since the early 80s, well, mid 80s. It used to be Mr. and Ms. or Mrs., when you're talking to your bosses. And so when I first started working in career services in the early 2000s, it was even still somewhat that way. But a lot of the big major corporations, the Fortune 500 corporations, were going to a more relaxed environment. So, for example, when I started working at Walmart, we're all on a first name basis. We call our CEO by his first name. So it was to establish, I guess, a closer or more camaraderie, to take away the levels so that employees would feel comfortable sharing and being a part of the company and really buying into that the company is their company. That it's not, the people up at in the C-suite who got the big names, but that they're actually a part of the team and they matter. And so you will find in a lot of industries it has relaxed. And there are still some that are very rigid, button up, kind of environments, and that's okay. Just know what that industry supports and how to navigate. And then there's some, again, when you're going out as interns, they might keep you on a more rigid or structured type of environment just so that you kind of get used to moving into the industry. So
Mhm. Yeah, I can agree as well. I at my last employer, actually, before coming to Prairie View, they wanted us to refer to everyone as a leader. So I couldn't say my manager, my director, I had to say my leader because they felt like everyone was a leader in some kind of way. So it does make it more a little informal in a sense, but it they wanted to make sure everyone was valued. It wasn't like this little bitty me and everybody else is so big and major, so it was all about the environment.
Yes, and I can also touch base on that as well. My internship is more so on the federal side. So I was expecting it to be like real stern, but it's four of us and we're like based everywhere and we get along well. One of them actually graduated from Prairie View and I had met her. She's really cool, but when I had got there, I work with like canine dogs, like training them and they sniff out dogs and stuff. So the people are kind of more relaxed. and they kind of approach you as you're like their friend. So it's kind of, I'm glad we went over this. That way I know how to keep a professional front with them as well. But yeah, it's really good. It's fun. The interns get along well.
That's good.
That's real good.
And some environments you work, some of your coworkers, I mean, they're gonna be like really, really cool. And cool in the sense of great people to work with. I'm what we've kind of noticed with these past presentations is that, we may have some of the students that's saying, how can I be friends with someone? And it's okay to be a friend, but you want to be mindful of just drawing that line, knowing when it's professional versus personal, because yes, everybody is nice and cool, but everybody ain't the friend. But if they become a friend in the long run, you want to make
Yeah.
sure if this person is really worth being in your circle. You don't want to start hanging out with them as soon as you meet your coworker, you guys hanging out or going to happy hour, and then you're oversharing, over talking your personal business. And then what if there's a disagreement later on? And then, it's going to be some awkwardness at work. And so you don't want that person sharing all your business. And then it's going to get crazy from there. So again, just be mindful of always maintaining that professionalism. When you are at work, it's professional. I don't care if you're off site with the coworkers for off-site team building or whatever it is, or just a relaxation, you're still at work. And so that's the mind frame that you need to have. It's always about that professionalism. So
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nia Harrison. I'm a rising junior. I'm actually interning at the Gordon Food Service in the New England division in Boston, Massachusetts. And I can say it's been a little bit of adjustment, being that I'm a young adult and I'm just getting into this world of the corporate life. I can relate when he said it's like a chill environment, because I don't call anybody Miss or Mister, so it's very different. Because I slip up sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, oh I forgot this. That I probably shouldn't say Miss or Mister because they don't go by that type of name. So it's been a bigger adjustment, but the decorum in the workspace is actually pretty good. I can tell that it's very different from just working a regular job. And in this division, they do tell me up front that they swear a lot. I've had heard a lot of words, but I grew up hearing them, so I'm like, I'm not opposed to it, but I don't use those type of words. So they try to stop themselves sometimes too. So I can tell it's a here and there type of thing.
mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Okay. Thank you for sharing, Nia.
Thank you.
Dr. Figgins, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer to be called doctor, or is it okay if someone addresses you as Miss?
I put it like this. When I introduce myself, I will introduce myself as Dr. Danielle Figgins.
Okay.
When people tend to ask me that, I will tell them I do prefer to be called doctor, because I'm more formal in a sense.
Okay.
So when you meet someone, always be formal with them. So if you meet another Dr. Jones or what have you, if Dr. Jones say, oh, just call me Michelle, then you know from that point to call her Michelle. But if they never correct you in saying, like, just call me Michelle, then you continue to be formal. So that's how I look at it. But everyone is different. But always start off being formal, just as a courtesy until they tell you. Because a lot of times, it can be considered as a disrespect. I don't get offended in a way, but because I feel like, some people may or may not know. But and then at the end of the day, I know who I am, so that don't bother me. But again, in a professional environment, I do want people to call me either Dr. Danielle or Dr. Figgins. So yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I see a question in the chat from Jasmine. Let's see. How would I deal with a coworker that has a tendency to micromanage? Ooh, child. Sorry. Had a flashback there. Had a flashback because I have worked with some micromanagers, and especially as the manager. Now, I've never had a coworker that was a micromanager. Are they micromanaging you or Jasmine, if you could take yourself off of mute, could you provide more information, please?
Yeah, so I don't want to what's it called? Kind of say this is what she is, but I feel like this coworker of mine has this tendency to micromanage and be dealing with everybody's business when it's not really her job because of the fact that she's been there for a pretty long time, longer than our actual boss, like the big boss. So like at times we would try to, kind of do our work the way that we want to, go at our own pace. And because, sometimes we're not going at the pace that she wants us to go to, she'll kind of like be like, oh hey, like you need to work a little bit faster, like you have deadlines to meet, this, that, and the third. So I have a really bad, I don't want to say bad quality, but a quality that I need to work on, which is I have a really hard time hiding the way that I feel. I may not say it, but it's gonna show in my face no matter what I do. So I was just wondering, there's a easy way or just like a thing that I can do to kind of manage my the way that I'm feeling at the moment, and respond in a courteous way without having like a sliver of attitude in my tone, or not showing it on my face.
Well, thank you for sharing. I'm the same way. So
Yeah.
look, it will show. I may not say it, but the face will definitely show. So I agree with you there. Several things you can do. You may want to have a conversation with your manager about it because she's just a coworker. So maybe she's feeling some type of way because she's not the manager. And like you say, she's been there a long time. Maybe she probably applied for the manager position when it was available and maybe she didn't get it. So she feels like I'm going to control everybody, which she shouldn't. But maybe you can have a conversation with your manager and kind of share some of the things that's going on. See how the manager may deal with it first. Um, I don't know, but I would tell, I don't know. Let me see. I'm trying to think about this one. I say just have a conversation with the manager first. Kind of
What
document.
she was doing?
I would kind of document and let the manager know what's going on and just express how you feel. Um, yeah, I would start off with that. So I don't know if the other
So
coaches.
the issue is, I don't know if her being, if she's like an administrative assistant. I think that's her official title. So you would say that she kind of does manage like a lot of her work. She works directly under the boss, so whatever the boss needs her to do, she will do it. But she works in a separate office than I do. I have my own manager, but she will technically still be considered my manager because she's an administrative assistant. Excuse me. And all of us have issues with the way that she manages um her office and then our office. So I understand that those kinds of people, you kind of can't really work, you have to work around them. There's no way that you can directly fix the way that they like to manage things. I was just looking for a way to kind of handle myself whenever she's trying to get under my skin or is getting under my skin, or when I'm having a bad day and I'm irritable and I'm just so ready to pop off or explode or have a really hard time hiding the way that I feel.
Yeah.
Hey, Jasmine, I'm curious, if I may jump in.
Mm-hmm.
Can you provide an example of for us, what is she um micromanaging? Is it the time you're coming in? Is it certain tasks? I'm just curious.
Well, sometimes we have, downtime. So, we have the tendency to, get on our phone or just scroll through your phone for a little bit, kind of entertain yourself in one way and then jump back into work. If she sees me doing this, and I would say if she's not having a good day herself, she would come in and be like, hey, do you have anything to do? And I understand that if I am on my phone and I'm working, then yeah, that's like an issue because I shouldn't be doing that. I should be doing my tasks. But um it's when she herself is kind of in a mood and she's like, "Are you doing something?" And she'll come in like really aggressive, and I'll be like, "No, I'm not doing anything." And she's like, "Okay, come here. I need you to do something." So it's like it's sometimes it's the way that she acts, it's her tone. Sometimes it's the way that I dress. I would say that it's business casual, you know. Sometimes I'll pop in with like a graphic T-shirt or something like that, and she'll be like, "Oh, you can't wear that. It's not professional." And yeah, I understand that, but again, it's mostly with her tone. It's not really the way that what she tells me. It's just that her tone is it. She if she feels some kind of way, she's gonna put it on people. And like when people do that to me, I tend to get upset and I unwillingly match their attitude. So I was trying to see if there's a way for me to not do that and just kind of relax, try to be as professional and as courteous as I can and not match her attitude.
Have you a question? So the times that, the day or times that she's come in with an attitude, and this is just the question, like, and coaches feel free to jump in. Was there ever a time where you're like, you know what, I'm sorry. Are if let's say she comes in with an attitude and say something about your dress. Okay, thank you so much for that. Can you give me some more? Is there a place where they, talk about the dress code? I would really like to have that so I won't, um, violate any type of dress code. So we won't. In your mind, what you're doing is so you will not have to address me about this dress code.
I guess so, yes. I mean, obviously, it's kind of common sense that if you are in a professional setting, you should at least be business casual, not show a lot of skin or wear revealing clothing or wear comfortable clothing. But sometimes I'm in a pinch and I don't have enough wardrobe to be able to present myself in a business casual way. So I would ask her sometimes like, "Oh, is it okay for me to wear this, that, and the third?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's fine." But then I could come wearing that thing, and she's like, "Oh, you can't wear that." And then I see my other coworkers, and they're wearing what she tells me I shouldn't be wearing. So like those things, it sets me off because it feels like I'm being treated differently, and it feels like she's kind of targeting me and pinpointing at me. And my manager has told me, don't listen to her. She probably wants to get like a rise out of you, but you shouldn't listen to her to keep the peace of being coworkers and working in how do you call it, working in a peaceful environment.
Mhm. Several things are popping in my mind because first of all, I will have a conversation with her and not okay, so let me backtrack. It appears that your boss cannot stand up to her from what I'm sensing. I had a situation like that too where kind of similar to yours where it was a manager that I did not report to that was kind of running the show, but she actually, controlled my reporting manager. So I think I'm kind of sensing that may be the same situation where your manager is not really able to have that conversation with her because what he's, have shared with you. I would tell her, I would appreciate if you can talk to me in a respectful manner, in a respectful tone. So I hope she's not yelling her voice at you or anything like that, because that's a whole nother level. But
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's not outright disrespect, where she's,
okay,
oh, da, 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 like she's not raising her voice in anything.
okay,
It's just that I feel like because she's been there for so long, she kind of feels entitled to run things the way that she wants to. And if you even try to like input your idea or kind of try to stand up for yourself, she will make um your job like a living hell basically. Like
mm,
she won't out like directly disrespect you and yell at you and insult you, but she'll do small things that kind of set you back or make your image not look good in the office. So you could ask her, "Oh, can you do this and the third for me?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'll do it for you. It's fine." And then you go to her and you're like, "Oh, were you able to do this?" She's like, "Oh, I didn't have time." And then you be like, okay, well, can I have to submit this by this time, and this is my deadline. Can you please help me with this before the deadline is coming up? And she'll be like, yeah, that's fine. And then you keep asking her and asking her and asking her, and until she wants to do it, she will do it. So I know that those kinds of people, it's really hard to deal with, because you don't want to cause conflict, because
Right.
it's not just you and her, it's everybody else that's in jeopardy as well. It's kind of hard to deal with those kinds of people. So I'm not really looking for a way to conversate with her, because I know trying to have a respectful and a diligent and a formal conversation with her is not going to end well, because she's not going to take it in a, oh, okay, I see what she's saying, I see what you're saying, I see what I'm doing, I'm going to back up a little bit, and I'm going to be more respectful and watch my tone. She's just going to see it as like, oh, she's just being petty, or oh, she's just trying to make issues. So I'm more focused on how can I kind of controlled myself and not let that get under my skin, and kind of just like, okay, what can I do to, when I'm talking to her and she's having these moments where she feels a need to act out this way, how I can prevent myself from having a physical reaction, or like my tone is just, matching hers, and it kind of starts getting disrespectful, not disrespectful, but just a tense. Yeah, tense is the word I'm trying to say. So that's what I'm really looking forward to.
Would it be okay if I could give you a
Yeah,
suggestion?
that's fine. Yeah, totally fine.
Okay, I kind of went through the same thing that you're going through at a previous internship I had at Disney World. And I worked at a resort where basically a lot of people were older than me. I was one of the few who were college students, so mostly everyone was basically full time or adults.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Haitian coworker who would kind of be rude to me sometimes, or it would just be the way she would talk to me, or when, as I was getting new to the job and I would make little mistakes, she really would be very harsh with me, or she would just speak to me in a very demeaning way.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I completely understand where you're coming from with keeping things professional. I will say is that you can be assertive and like punctual or piercing at the same time and still be professional, because how I handled my situation with her is one of our last spouts ended with her like pushing a cart out onto the floor, and
Oh
she told
man.
me to go get it because I was messing things up, and she just told me like get out her face and stuff like that, and there were people in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went back up to her and I pushed the cart slowly, and I made sure I didn't speak in a loud tone. I just pulled her over to the side quietly. And I told her, I don't know who she thought she was, but she's not about to speak to me that way. The way she just spoke to me was completely unacceptable. And I told her if we were going to continue to have problems, that we're going to take it up with the higher ups. Like, I told her I had no problem reporting her, and she was never going to talk to me like that again. And she kind of like was confused when like she was kind of acting like she didn't know what I was saying. She was like, what? And I'm like, you hear me. You heard what I said. Stop talking to me like that. I don't care if you've been working here before me or you feel you know everything else. I'm an adult and you're not going to talk to me like that if we have the same salary. Or even as my superior, I wouldn't allow it. So it's just no. And it kind of resulted in like her kind of telling everybody, but it worked out in a way where everybody kind of thought I was a hothead, and so everybody kind of wanted to be very cordial with me. Like I would have my other coworkers over explaining themselves, because I'm not a person to get angry or anything like that. It's just that one time I had to kind of check her. And so I've had other coworkers, shortly after that, like, oh, when I'm speaking to you sternly, I just want to let you know I'm not trying to come off offensive. So I could kind of tell she told everyone, because
Mm-hmm.
everyone was trying to defend themselves with me every time they spoke with me.
Right.
And it kind of made others respect me unconsciously. And I never had problems with her again. It's just different ways that we have to go about dealing with certain people,
Mm-hmm.
because they won't understand with trying to, because they expect you to do the right thing and they take advantage of that. But if you respond differently, like in a way where they don't expect you to respond, however, you're still able to remain professional, that won't get you in trouble, I really think that would help out.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's just, it's kind of hard to confront people, especially in a workplace, because you don't know how they will take it, and if it can put the peace in a workplace out of sorts, and if it can, kind of put things in a bad way and
Yeah.
affect your reputation, and you're like, you kind of seem disrespectful, or just like, uh, like hot-headed, I would say.
Well, I would say sometimes there's the misconception, which I personally don't care to explain myself to my coworkers. I would only like to
Mhm.
explain to myself to my superiors, since they're the only ones who could really do something about my employment. And I explained to them that disrespect well, it shouldn't be cloaked as standing up for yourself and not letting people to treat you any kind of way in the workplace.
I
Okay.
want to say this. You always have to keep in mind that it's not about I want my coworkers to, I got to get along. I want my coworkers to like me or anything like that. It's about um, being a team player, and it's fine to defend yourself. It's fine to advocate for yourself. You do have to do it in a manner where it doesn't, it can't come back and hurt you. Um, if you don't have a manager that's willing to step in and say something to the person, and then you take it upon yourself to to handle the situation in a way where now this person is going around spreading things about you, it can come back to hurt you. It can actually affect what your manager can do, because now people can say, yeah, it's too, we gotta walk on eggshells to talk to this person. I'm not comfortable anymore. So you really have to, it's a fine line between it all. um I think, Jasmine, one of the things you ask is, how do you not let it affect you where you're taken out of character?
Mm-hmm.
One of the things is learn to talk to yourself internally. I'm not going to take this personally. I'm not, I'm not going to let her get me to where I need to go off. Another thing I heard you say is you've communicated with her before about doing something, a task, and then she doesn't do the task. Do not ever leave it as just a conversation. Always back it up with documentation. Hey, Angela, we spoke just a few minutes ago. You said you'd help me out and take care of blah, 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 blah. I really, really appreciate that. My deadline on this task is XYZ. Please let me know if you're not able to complete this task and get, where it gives me enough, but just document that conversation. So now you got something to pass on. Now you got ammunition, if you will, if you got to take it to your supervisor to say, hey, we had this conversation. She said she would help me out and take care of this. And then she ends up not taking care of it. So it's real important for you to, advocate for yourself, but also to remember you've got to still be a part of the team. So you don't want to make it uncomfortable where, and I get, I think it was Miss Aaliyah. I understand, Miss Aaliyah, how you took care of that. That worked for you. Just always be mindful when people start coming up to you and saying, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. That can come back and maybe become an issue, because if people feel like they can't just communicate with you in a respectful manner or say certain things, they may not have understood what was really going on. This person, when they said what they, when it said what they said, might have misled people to believe they didn't do anything. You just went off on them. So, and so now you look like the bad guys, kind of like the people fighting. They don't see the person who gives the first lick. They just see the person who gives that retaliatory lick. So you have to be real mindful of that. But just practice just being in a peace. This is not about me. I'm not going to take it personally. She's just having a bad day, as she has. I'm just going to smile. Hey, Sandra, how's your day going? What can I do to help your day get better? If that was me, I'm gonna always take you to the other end of it. It seems like something is really stressing you today. Is there something I can help you with? just, hit her back with kindness. Hit her back with kindness. That's, again, I'm baby boomer age. So for me, we were always taught when they come at you the wrong way, you hit them back with kindness. Now, there are times you have to take Aaliyah's role. And you know what? This has got to stop. You just can't talk to me any kind of way. I appreciate the help you're trying to give me. And I always try to twist it positive, even though I know they're not trying to help me. That's what I'll say. I appreciate the help you're trying to give me, but the way it's coming across is not respectful. I just, want to make sure we kind of deal with each other in that respectful professional manner. So
and I was gonna say it takes practice, Jasmine.
It
Believe
does.
me, I'm older now, so I'm a wiser now. But believe me, when I was your age, that's why I try to tell you all as young people, please advocate for yourself, because there are times where you may have situations that people are older than you may try to take advantage because they know you're younger. And so it does take practice. How do you respond to those situations? Because I was in your shoes too at one point. That wasn't easy for me. I'm very direct. People would say, like, "Ooh, Danielle, you'll cut people, you'll go to the juggler with your words," because I would let them have it. But again, that was not the best choice, at the time. So it takes practice and maturing. But again, I like the advice that Miss Jones is giving.
Could
So it definitely takes practice.
would it be okay if I asked a question in regards to this topic?
Sure. And
Would
and before you, but right before you do, I mean, we are at the end of the presentation, but if you want to hang on, we are here. So we can continue, but those that may want to drop off, you're welcome to do so. Thank you for joining us, but we're going to continue this conversation. And so those that want to stay, you're welcome to hang on. So yes, Aaliyah, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I was saying, in regards, what would you advise would be like a breaking point in the workforce or in your work environment where you would say that it would be pretty much impossible to have respect for yourself when your coworkers and managers are against you and you kind of feel like no matter what I do, like it's not going to work and I just can't allow myself to be in this area? Because even I do like Dr. Jones' approach with staying positive, but I know there's people who would purposely try to make everything harder for you. And there are just times where I just have to cut the cord and just let it go. I just don't sacrifice my self dignity. I can be respectful and get through things, and I don't have to be reactive to everything. It's just when it's just so much, I just gracefully bow out and go somewhere where I would feel more respected.
Well, of course, that's when you start looking for another job. And in the meantime, that's when you're documenting, you're documenting what's happening in that
Right.
situation, who's disrespecting you. But you don't want to pop off because then, everybody playing victim at that point and they afraid of you. So, I've been through all that too, especially
Yeah.
in corporate America with certain people, if you know what I mean. But but no, you don't want to pop off. I get it. There were times where I had to document, certain behaviors in the workplace for myself and made an HR complaint. I had to take it to that level. But in the meantime, start looking for somewhere else to work. Look, I tell people, you go to work, that is 8 hours of your day. You don't want to go there and be miserable all 8 hours of your day. That's
Right.
not healthy for your mental health. So you want to be at a place that you enjoy going to work, you love what you do. There were times where I loved the job, but I didn't like the coworkers or the manager was from hell, pretty much. So I just had to learn, I had to learn how to deal with that as far as like I say, documenting, filing those complaints, looking for somewhere else to work,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Guys, this is Cassandra. I just had a question. Is this a full-time employment or is it an internship? Aaliyah.
I guess I could speak on mine. Mine is so I worked this job throughout the semester. It's a job that I have at school in Purview, and there was an internship opportunity with the same office. So, since I'm comfortable, I'm great with everybody else in the office except that I have this issue with this one coworker. So I worked with with the same group of people during the semester, and right now I'm working with the same people during this internship.
And Aaliyah answered.
Is this a supervisor or peer?
I don't know if it will be I don't know what she will be considered, but
She said she's not your supervisor,
I will say that she's a supervisor.
but she's not your supervisor.
No, she's not directly my supervisor, but if my direct supervisor and the person under them isn't available, then she would be the one to supervise me.
I think you said she's like an admin, right, Jasmine?
Kind of, yeah, kind of like an admin assistant, something like that.
Office manager or something like that.
Mhm.
And Aaliyah put in the chat, hers is an internship as well.
So from an internship perspective, you're only going to be there for the summer. You try to make the best of it and get what you can out of it. Remember, every internship is really an opportunity for you to learn and for you to grow. So you don't want to miss the opportunity to learn and grow. You know, if it was a full-time job, then you're right, consider going somewhere else, but you're not going to get that with your internship.
Oh yes, of course. The internship I was working actually lasted 6 months. I worked there from August to December.
Okay. So just, a lot of your internship people, especially the supervisor, may be asked to give you a reference. So you want to keep that in mind as well, because the point of doing these internships is to get some experience that you can put on your resume. So keep that in mind as well. So your supervisor understanding what's going on is going to be really helpful. And if you take it to them from a perspective of, I really like your help in how to handle this situation, then they're going to try to help you figure out how to solve the problem as opposed to just a complaint to them. So I would recommend you do that and say, I don't feel like I'm being respected in this area, and so I want to make sure I'm not taking it wrong, but I also want to know how can I handle this in a way that's professional, that allows us to get some resolution, and not so sometimes people don't know what other people are doing. Sometimes they do, and it's a history. So now you're getting some feedback from them on how to handle it, but also making them aware that there is a problem.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. This was really helpful and insightful. Because and since I'm really I have a good relationship with all of my other coworkers except this person, I really want to learn how to manage dealing with these kinds of people. So, because we're gonna find them in other workplaces, and in case I come across this kind of person again, I want to have the kind of the grounds to how to professionally deal with individuals who are kind of hard on the fence and like to work things a certain way, and they like to make things go the way that they want to. So I wanted to take this time because I'm coming back during the fall semester, to this workplace. So I wanted to take the summer to kind of work my way around it. So when I come back during the fall, I have a better way of handling outbursts that she may have, or just days that she's just feeling moody and she's not wanting to cooperate, or the days that I feel very um inclined to react in an aggressive manner, or kind of just match her attitude. So that's what I wanted to do this summer.
Okay.
So I know next week we're gonna talk about and thank you so much, Jasmine and Aaliyah, for kind of sharing. I mean, this is what we like. We want, peers to help other peers in this situation. So thank you all both for really sharing. We definitely appreciate that. I was gonna say next week we're gonna talk about microaggressions. So that will be a great topic. Kind of like some situations that you're kind of describing, Jasmine. We're gonna dive deeper into that on next week. But I was just gonna say, sometimes people that we work with that display that type of behavior, some people are just flat out miserable. Like, I don't know this lady or anything like that, but some people are just miserable. You don't know what they're going through in their personal life, and they want to bring that into the workplace. Maybe she's not happy with it. I don't know what she's dealing with, but only you can maintain positive. And so that's something, that's why I say it takes practice. You can't take it personal. You know, if I encounter somebody with a negative attitude, I'm like, leave that over there, because you don't want that negative energy. You don't. So some people are just flat out miserable. But we will dive deeper into that on next week. But thank you so much again for just sharing.
Of course, thank you to you too. This was really insightful. I love hearing opinions regarding these kinds of really tough situations where it's kind of a double-edged sword. You either do everything in a respectful manner, or you know, match their attitude. So it's like either way, the outcome may not be what you want it to be, and it may not be the best outcome. But hearing other people's advices and the way that they deal with the similar situation that I am in is really helpful to see like what things I can grab from each situation to kind of make it my own and make it work for me and my work environment.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Aaliyah, I think that was your name.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah,
And
it'll be okay.
the last thing I'll add to that is don't let somebody else control your destiny, and that don't let how they are handling or what they're going to do define who you are and what you want to be and what you want to do with your time there. Because people will change and move, and you don't want them to cause you to lose your internship or not want to go back to that department when you know you need the income or the experience or whatever the case may be. And so we've all had to go through some of that and work with some tough people who didn't like us or didn't try quite treat us the way we wanted to be treated. So that is a commonplace thing. So learning how to handle it is a great thing. So I do applaud you guys as well, for the way you're trying to address it. But we all have gone through it, and if I think about if I had left that was happening, I wouldn't have gotten to see or experience the blessing that God had for me in my growth in that company. And that was a great thing for me. So I'm glad I didn't allow that season to keep me from the next season. So you choose, you decide how you want to handle that, but you decide where you want that experience to go.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate all the advice.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, if there are no other comments or questions, we appreciate you all for hanging with us 23 minutes afterwards. And we hope you all have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.